This week, we're reading through James chapter 3 and talking about genuine wisdom. The first part of the chapter reminds us that we all stumble in many ways. If anyone is perfect, he's without fault, but that is just not us. No one can tame their tongue. It's a restless evil, corrupting our whole selves. We try to use it for good by praising God, but then we curse our brother who's made in God's image. And this should not be. Can you see how this sets us up to understand genuine wisdom? Let's look at the text, starting in chapter 3, verse 13. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in humility that come from wisdom. But if you harbor bitter envy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast about it or deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come from heaven, but it is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where you have envy and selfish ambition, there you have disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom that comes from heaven is first of all pure, peace-loving, considerate, submissive, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and sincere. Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvestness of righteousness. After informing his readers of the universal problem we all have with taming our tongue, James exhorts his readers to live in wisdom by asking the question, who is wise and understanding among you? And you know what the answer is? Well, the proof is in the pudding. A life lived with good deeds, done in humility. You gotta show me the receipts. James contrasts good and bad behavior and shows the relationship of both to wisdom. He warns against bitter jealousy and selfish ambition, noting that if a person claims to be wise but has those things in their life, he is lying. The truth is not in him. That kind of wisdom results in this bitter jealousy and selfish ambition. It's not from God above. It's earthly, unspiritual, and accompanied by disorder and evil practice. By contrast, the kind of wisdom that James advocates is genuine wisdom from God. That kind of wisdom is pure, peaceable, gentle, listening to reason, full of mercy and good fruit, impartial and without hypocrisy. That kind of wisdom bears the fruit of righteousness. Our life group has been studying Hebrew words, and we recently looked at the word shalom, which means peace. Jewish rabbis thought it was more important to live at peace with our neighbor than to be right. Instead of lording it over our neighbor as people who possess the knowledge of truth, we live at peace with our neighbor and point them to the truth. Which neighbor would you rather live by? The one who is arrogant because he knows that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life? Or the one who peacefully loves you as themselves and lives out the truth they have come to know? I would say that neighbor is wise by fulfilling the commandments. Paul offers a similar message in the book of Corinthians of how we can be wise. He shuns the wisdom of this world. He notes that that kind of wisdom is what led to the crucifixion of Christ. Instead, Paul speaks of wisdom from God, a wisdom that leads to our glory. It is important to Paul that his readers don't place their faith in the wisdom of men, but rather in God's wisdom. This wisdom of God can allow a person to be a spiritual leader rather than live a life of jealousy and strife. Both Paul and James work from the same understanding of wisdom as King Solomon, who speaks about it in Proverbs on how we can be genuinely wise. Solomon has a great deal to say about humility and wisdom, and he connects the fear of the Lord to both. He explains that the fear of the Lord is instruction for wisdom. Before one can be wise, he must first fear the Lord. Humility and fear go hand in hand and precede the fruit that is born from wisdom. The proper perspective is the proper perspective, and it's necessary for us to live the kind of lives that God has designed. This is the wisdom that James wants his readers to live in. Now, if a person thinks that this kind of heavenly wisdom is out of reach, James has already said in chapter 1, Anyone who lacks wisdom should ask God, because He gives generously. As you study James 3 this week, consider the kind of wisdom displayed in your life. Are you envious of anyone or living selfishly? Would everyone who looks at your life say it is full of good deeds done in humility? The word for humility in Hebrew means to completely fill your God-given space. If you're completely fulfilling the deeds that God has given you, I would say you're genuinely wise. If not, it's time to lock in and ask God for genuine wisdom.